This is section 4.2, and today we're going to start talking about congruence in triangles. We focus a lot in chapter 4 on triangles and how they are congruent to each other. So by the end of this one, you should be able to identify corresponding parts, so which go with which, and then congruent parts of triangles, and we'll eventually find some missing sides and angle measures based on what's congruent. So the first one says write a congruence statement. So that's the word right there. Congruent statement is telling me who is congruent to who. So we're going to say triangle, and you can start anywhere you want, just as long as you go around in a circle, so you follow the shape around. And that'll be more apparent here, how we have to go around in a circle, not I can't go P to R and then Q to S. So I have to pick a corner and then go around in a circle. So I'll start with L. And I'm going to go LKJ. Is congruent to, remember that's the symbol for congruent, an equal sign with that squiggle on top. Triangle, and now when you get to the second one, you have to match it up appropriately. So if you're going to go from L to K to J, so you're going to go from the angle that has 2 marks to the angle that has 1 mark, you have to do the same thing over here. So we have to start at the angle that has the 2 marks, so that's R. Then we have to go to the angle that has the 1 mark, which is S, and then the last letter is T. You have to match them up in a way where everything syncs up. So if I were to take this shape and spin it, I got to make sure that everybody's matched up with who they go with. So the 2 angle with the 2 angle, the 3 tick side with the 3 tick side. Everybody's got to match with who they correspond to. So name all the congruent sides. So I'm going to start with JK, which has 1 tick mark on it. So when I come over here, I need to find the one that is 1 tick mark, TS. Another side, KL, is congruent to, and now I went from K to L, so I went from the 1 angle to the 2 angle. So I got to start at the 1 and go to the 2. So SR. And letter placement is important because you're telling people what goes with what. If I look up here for the last one, so we did JK, we did KL, now we're about to do LJ. So if I looked up here, LJ is the first and the last, so it also has to match over here, first and last. So this has to be RT, and we're going to check to make sure. But to go from L to J, I went from the 2 angle to the 3 angle. And over here, RT goes from the 2 angle to the 3 angle. So that's the correct side. So based on these letters, everything should match up. And that's how I'm going to do the angles. So angle L had better go with angle R. They're both the first one listed, so they better go together. So checking over here, angle L has 2 marks. Angle R has 2 marks. We did it. Angle K had better go with S. K is a 1 mark. S is a 1 mark. So we're good. And the last one, angle J, goes with angle T. So the order of the letters is important. You're matching up and telling everybody what the corresponding parts are. And it helps you kind of double check anything you're trying to name because it's got to match up here and match in the picture. So the first example says in the figure we've got some shapes and we want to find the value of X and Y. And these are quadrilaterals. And I do know that they are congruent because it tells me that. So I know that all of their sides, all their corresponding parts are congruent. So I'm just going to match up a couple of things. I know that D goes with S. So angle D and angle S have to be the same. So if D is 102, then that means S is 102. E and P go together. So angle E, which is right here, has no information, and angle P, no information. That's okay, but if there was something that I could kind of share it between the two, I'd want to do that. F goes with Q. So F is 68 degrees, and Q is 6y plus x. So what I'm going to do off to the side is say 68 has got to equal 6y plus x because they are the same angle. And I know I'm going to be solving for x and y eventually, so this is going to help me do that. The last one I have is G and R. So angle G is 84. Angle R has no information, so I'm going to put an 84 there. The only other pieces then are the stuff on the outside, which I can do the same thing with. If I have some information on GF, I can look right here and go GF, to make sure, we'll go with QR. And QR is right there. So GF and QR go together. So 12 has got to equal 2x minus 4. So now we've got 2 equations that we have set up and we can solve for. The second one, since it's only got 1 variable, that's the one I want to solve first. This guy's got 2, so I bet we're going to have to figure this one out and then plug it in over there. So I'm going to add 4 to the other side. 16 equals 2x, and x is 8. So now using that information, I'm going to put an 8 right there. So 6y plus 8. And now just finishing off to solve for y, I get 6y equals 60, and that means y is 10. The third angles theorem is something we're going to use just briefly to talk about when triangles are congruent to each other. And the third angles theorem just says that if two angles of one triangle are congruent to two corresponding angles of another triangle, then the third angles have to be congruent. It kind of just says if I know that K and S are equal and J and T are equal, automatically R and L have to be, because they would both have to be the same amount as long as these guys are as well. So it's just kind of saying if you know two of the angles are equal, then the third one's got to be. Here's just some notation we're going to walk through and what it means so that when we get to proof so you can kind of tell the difference. The first one has a YW and there's no notation above it, so it's different than this guy right here. Also different is it has an equal sign, not a congruent sign. So if you see that, it means length, and it means that you're going to be giving me a number for an answer. It means I want to know actually how long that side is. This guy, when it's got a segment above there and the congruent sign, it means we're talking about the segment, and it means that you're going to give me letters for an answer. You're going to tell me who it's congruent to. So here you're looking for the corresponding side. So who goes with it? So I'm going to sneak that in there. Who goes with YW? Kind of like up here. JK is congruent to TS. You're going to tell me who goes with who. Next, the measure of angle Y. That is where I want to actually know how much the angle is. You're going to give me a number for an answer. You're going to tell me angle S is 102. If I say angle Y is congruent to, then I actually want to know what angle does it go with. So you're going to give me letters again. You're going to name me the corresponding angle. You're going to name me the angle that it matches up to. So if I say who goes with angle S, you would tell me angle D. I would know that they match up. So I have angle D is congruent to angle S, and I know that angle D is equal to 102. So two different things. Congruent, you're giving me more letters. You're telling me who it's the same as. If I just have the angle or just the two letters by itself, then I want to know actually how much does it measure. I want some numbers.